Hey everybody, it's Rykard here again, bringing you my next black and white Pokemon analysis. Today we're going to be looking at the Thorn Monkey Pokemon known as Yanakkie, who is one of 3 monkey Pokemon that are of different elemental types found within the black and white game. So let's get started by taking a look at its stats and abilities. So this monkey happens to be a monograss type and gets 2 pretty good abilities. The first of which is Gluttony, which was made famous probably by Linoone in the previous generation. And what it does is it allows you to consume pinch berries at 50% HP or less as opposed to 25% HP or less. And why this is good is because if you are holding an item like a Slack berry or Pitaya berry or whatever the heck you're holding, it will essentially activate when you are at half of your health as opposed to having to wait until you are below 25. And it's a lot easier to be below half health than be below 25% health and be alive at the same time. So it's a really cool ability because you can possibly just switch this Pokemon in, take a hit, and then have your berry activate, which is really cool. As for its next ability, which it gets in the Dream World, it is known as Overgrow, and this ability is normally reserved for the grass starting Pokemon. But since it is the Dream World, this Pokemon gets it, and what happens is when you are below a third of your health, the power of your grass type attacks is boosted by 1.5. As for the stats, this Pokemon has 75 base HP, coupled with 63 defense and 63 special defense. So it has pretty not so great defenses, but it's not as bad as they could be. But this Pokemon really isn't meant to take a lot of hits, so to speak, but it's still not the worst defensive type or defensive stats in the world. As for its attacking stats though, it has 98 attack and 98 special attack, meaning that you can either go physical or special with this Pokemon and have it be effective regardless of which one you choose. You could even go mixed because this Pokemon does learn Cheer Up, and you can use that to boost your attack and special attack at the same time. As for its speed, it is a nice 101, meaning that it will outspeed a lot of Pokemon that have 100 base speed, which I think is hilarious because it'll just be being outsped by 1 point, and that's like, people are calling this like a troll number, I guess. But it's really nice speed to use along with the good attacking stats you get, making this Pokemon pretty good when it comes to being a either revenge killer by having its high speed to outspeed whatever took you out, or just being a solid attacking Pokemon. So with that, let's take a look at a couple of different sets. So this first set is going to be one that is physically based. So we're going to give Yanakkie a Jolly Nature to increase its speed but lower its special attack, and we're going to be using the ability Gluttony. As for the EVs, we're going to be using 4 for HP to give you 1 more hit point, and then 252 attack EVs and 252 speed EVs to give you max attack and max speed. As for the item with this set, we're going to be using a Slack Berry to boost your speed even further when you're hit below half of your health. As for the moves, the first one is going to be Claw Sharpen, which is a new move that increases your physical attack and your accuracy. And that is great because we're using a physically based set, and also because this Pokemon learns Grass Whistle as an egg move. And Grass Whistle is a 55% accuracy grass type move that puts your opponent to sleep. And normally people don't use this move because of its horrible accuracy. But after a Claw Sharpen, Grass Whistle will have an accuracy of 69%, and if you can use that, I mean, people use Hypnosis, and that has 60% accuracy, so having Grass Whistle with almost 70% accuracy is a lot better than that. And if you get up 2 Claw Sharpens, which is totally possible, probably, but not likely, but possible, you'll have like an 85–83% Grass Whistle to use. So that's really cool, and this Pokemon is one of the few that can actually make use of this combination. As for the attacking moves, we're going to be using Seed Bomb, which is just an 80 base power physical grass move that will get Stab. and then either Brick Break or this new move known as Acrobat. And Acrobat is a 55 base power flying move that it becomes a 110 base power flying move if you don't have an item. And so when you lose your Select Berry or consume it at 50% health or less because of Gluttony, your Acrobat will now be at 110 base power along with a really powerful Seed Bomb. So you can either use that or Brick Break. It depends really on which types you want to be able to hurt for super effective damage, but they're both useful moves to have on this physical set. On the other hand, we have this set, which is essentially the special counterpart to the previous one. So we're going to be using a Tip in Nature to increase Yanakkie's speed but decrease its physical attack. The ability Gluttony will be the same, and so will the EVs, except for the 252 EVs that are now being put into special attack instead of physical attack. The item Select Berry also remains the same. As for the moves, we're going to be using Nasty Plot this time to boost our special attack and give us really high attack power to utilize the 3 special attacking moves to their full potential. The first of which is Energy Ball, which is a 80 base power special grass type move that will get Stab. Then the next is Focus Blast, which is a very powerful but slightly inaccurate fighting type move. And then Hidden Power Ice to round it all off because it hits types that Energy Ball and Focus Blast cannot, namely Flying, because that resists both Energy Ball and Focus Blast. So it's a pretty cool, well-rounded special type set that also makes use of this Pokemon's good special attack and speed and Gluttony to allow your Select Berry to be boosted earlier than normal and essentially give you really high speed plus Nasty Plot special attack power. As for this last set, we're going to be using a very, very unique leech seeding set that this Pokemon can make use of. So first we're going to give Yanakkie a Jolly Nature to increase its speed but decrease its special attack. And this time we're going to be using the ability Overgrow because we aren't using any kind of Pinch Berry. As for the EVs, we're going to be putting 128 EVs into HP to give you higher hit points to hopefully allow you to survive more attacks than you would in the previous set. Also, to increase your bulk, we're putting 252 EVs into your special defense to max it out, or at least give it the max possible special defense with the Jolly Nature. And then we're also putting the remainder of the EVs, 128, into speed, so that you can still outspeed things, but you aren't as fast as the previous sets because you're trying to be more defensive. As for the item, we're going to be using a Citrus Berry this time, which is a useful berry that restores 25% of your health when you drop below 50% of your health. And this item is going to be used along with the moveset, which I will explain right now. First off, we have Leech Seed, which is a grass type move that you all should know by now. And what it does is it basically attaches to your opponent, sucks their health every turn, and restores yours. So this is useful because obviously this Pokemon isn't the most defensive Pokemon, and it doesn't have any really any other means of recovery. So being somewhat defensive with the EVs and having a Leech Seed is very helpful to allow this Pokemon to survive longer. Also helping out this Pokemon is this useful move known as Tickle, which not a lot of people see used in battle, but for this set it works out great. The first thing it does is it lowers your opponent's physical attack. That's great because we're obviously putting EVs into your special defense, so your physical defense isn't nearly as good. And by tickling your opponent, they lower their attack and therefore cannot hit you as hard as they normally would have. The other part of Tickle is it also lowers your opponent's physical defense. That works out great as well because we're not putting any EVs into attack, so having a Seed Bomb with -1 defense on your opponent kind of makes up for it. As for the third move in the set, which I am discussing last now, I guess, it is a move known as Recycle, which restores berries or other items. I'm not sure what other items, but I know berries. And it restores berries that were used already. So say with the Citrus Berry, you're hit below half of your health. you'll get the citrus berry will activate, thus restoring 25% of your health. If you use recycle, then the citrus berry comes back, and now once you get hit below 50% of your health again, it will activate again, thus being able to use multiple times. Why this works especially well with this set though is because you're also having leech seed to heal your HP. So what this does is it basically gives you 2 recovery options while your opponent is slowly being wilted away by the damage leech seed is doing. And what's also great is that because Tickle will lower your opponent's defense and attack, it won't be able to do as much damage to you, and you will be able to do a lot more damage to it with the Seed Bomb as your main stab move. So it's a really, really unique set that Yanakkie can utilize, and I think it's actually very unique to him. I already said unique like 3 times, I know, but I think this is definitely worth a shot to try out in the new Black and White games. But that's about it for this Pokemon, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this Pokemon. Let me know what you think in the comments as always, and I will see you in my next video. So take care and goodbye.